Hey guys, and welcome to another interview here at the Bespoke Trader interview series. In this episode, I talked to a guy who has actually won the biggest giveaway that we have ever done. And not only did he pass that account, he also managed to get a great payout. So I'm super excited for you guys to see the possibilities of these giveaway challenges and hopefully give you guys some motivation on your journey to becoming a successful and profitable trader. So let's get straight into it. As always guys, please make sure you like, comment, subscribe and hit that bell so you do not miss any of our videos. You don't understand how much this helps us as a channel, so thank you in advance. Hey!
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. So for everyone that's watching at home, would you like to introduce yourself, tell us your name, where you're from, and I also want you to tell us a little bit about the account that you have with Bespoke.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Maurizio and I'm from Italy, even though I'm living abroad. At the moment, I'm living in Marrakesh. And how I got this account, it was basically thanks to a giveaway last April. It was the 1st of April, actually. I'll never forget because I was thinking when the winner got announced, I was thinking it was a joke. No, the 1st of April.
Oh.
And so I won this giveaway. It was through Trader Mike, which is a very nice person. I mean, he put out a lot of content for free. And I got my credential right away. And that's basically how I got into, this account.
That's amazing. So I will also add that you were actually the winner of the biggest giveaway that we've ever done. So to be able to not only pass that, but also get a payout, I think that is absolutely phenomenal.
Yes. Just recently, actually, I saw some stats. It was not from Bespoke, but it was from another prop firm, I believe. And it was stunning because basically the percentage of people who pass and eventually even get a payout from a giveaway account is very, 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 very low. And I was not aware of that. But I'm here today, so celebrating the first payout with you and here to tell my story.
Absolutely. I think you should be so proud of yourself. Like I said, absolutely phenomenal because we know the stats at Bespoke and we know that most of the giveaway winners don't ever pass a challenge, never mind actually make it to the payout stage. So like I said, absolutely amazing job. So how did you actually get into trading?
Yeah, so basically let's put it this way. The first time I saw a chart was when I was very young, with my father, when I was going with him to meet a financial advisor. At that time, my father had some investment, right? I guess it was like a sort of fund with a lot of stocks inside. Every 3 months, we were going to speak with this person who was the advisor of him. So he was showing charts and I was explaining. He was talking a lot at that time. I was very young, probably my 17, 18 years old. And he was talking about how the economic at that time was going, how the American Central Bank was raising or lowering interest rate. I don't remember the details, but every time was the same conversation. And then, a lot of years has passed. And finally, I basically, life has passed. And I got into first trading, let's say, was through crypto in 2021. The first trading that I choose, consciously. And then I moved from crypto, where I met my first real life mentor, Clarissa. I love you so much. I have to shout out to her. And basically through crypto, after losing a bunch of money, I met Clarissa, like I said, and with her, I basically transitioned to let's call it the real trading, right? So basically from there, I start, from the very beginning, saw the usual things about market structure and indicator or whatnot. With her, she gave me a really, let's say, global introduction to trading and how to manage risk. And of course, everything went, especially the part of risk management was coming through 1 year and going out to the other years. And I went through a first phase of basically blowing account after account after account. This was in the very beginning. And then she also introduced me to ICT concept. And basically once I start studying ICT concept, I basically stopped learning anything else with her. And I basically focused just on ICT concept. And as such. So this was the end of 2021. Then in 2022, ICT started his free mentorship on YouTube. And then from that moment on, I just followed the mentorship and studied his content that is for free and available for everyone. And basically I never changed. That's one thing. After I found ICT concept, I never went back, because to me it was the only thing that made sense. I'm not here to say or to talk about, some delicate topics that are, on FinTweet. I'm not really big on social media. I don't really use them. And without arguing if it exists or not, this infamous, let's call it, algorithm, it's a matter of, you have to find something that works for you, that makes sense for you, and that resonate with you. The thing that I learned is that once you choose one path, go and don't change, because you can be profitable with any strategy, even with moving average crossover. It doesn't matter which strategy you use, actually, because what they really discovered is that it's more of a personal journey in trading. And it's true. People, they think, oh yes, I read it. Everybody on Twitter is writing about this and is saying, it's all 90% psychology or this and that. But it is really true. But the thing is, unfortunately, at least this is my experience, you have to go through the trenches. It's not something that you can just read about it and you are aware of it. And yes, you read it and you repeat it to yourself, you write it in your journal, but it's not enough. It's not enough. You have, in my opinion, this is how, at least this is my experience. I went through the first months where, even though my rules, they were written and they were right in front of me, when I am entering the trade and when price started fluctuating, up and down, and you see your P&L going up and down, and those emotions, they are something that nobody can describe to you. You need to experience them. And there is nothing that can replace the actual experience, because the most important book that you can read in your life, it's not Mark Douglas book. It's your trading journal. And I'm not referring to the trading journal as the entry and the stop loss. And, I'm really talking about the trading journal that you write with your own hand, with the pen and the pencil and the notebook there. And you write your emotions, and you write at the end of the day how you felt during the trade, what happened. And when you go back and you read all your past records, and that's the real experience that you have on the market, right? And thanks to this experience is the only way, in my opinion, that you can progress. Because, there is education everywhere. Honestly, like, you open Twitter, you open YouTube, literally education is everywhere and is free. And I'm not talking only about Michael, ICT, okay, to me is also, if you look around, he's the only man above 40 or 45 years old, probably, that is teaching trading, that he has real experience. All the other gurus and teachers, they're all in their 20s. Tell me, how can I learn from somebody who has like 3, 4, 5 years of experience? And I want to compare to somebody who has more than 30 years of experience, right? So this was one of my reasons. So to why I stick with him and never change. But nevertheless, regardless which mentor, regardless which strategy you choose, my advice and my experience tells me that there is nothing that can replace you actually trading and being there and doing it and doing it and doing it, and write it down. Write down your emotions, write down what happened this day, write down what happened this week, and remember and go and read it again. Because next time when the same things happen, you will be prepared. That you will go in your journal and you will say, oh, last time when I moved to break even, before this and this happened, I got stopped out and then the price went in my direction. This time I'm not going to go to break even until this and this happened, because you have experienced already, right? And, that's one of the key points that I wanted to say is about, unfortunately, there is nothing that you can replace or skip other than your own experience. Trading adventures so far. I played sport at a semi-professional level for more than 20 years, right? And after, when I stopped being a semi-professional athlete, I went into gaming. And gaming is something that I found it very related to trading, because there is a lot of, nowadays, sport is a huge business, is a huge industry. And there are a lot of young men and even young women that they play video games. Some they do it in their free time, some they do it more competitive, etc., etc. One thing that I want to say that resonated with me and was that basically the gaming experience was not something that was, how can I say, it was not the same as in the gaming world. Trading, you can do an association, right? You can associate a trade with a match or with a game itself that, maybe it's like 50 to 30 minutes. The thing is that the games, they allows you to repeat over and over again the game. You can die, you can resurrect, you can do it over again. And in the beginning, this for me was a big problem. And I realized it only after, because I was basically treating trading like a game. And this is a problem that I think a lot of young men, especially, they are into it right now, but they don't realize it. When you are trading, and you don't realize that you are associating trading, each single trade as a game in any video game, and that's the problem, because what happens is that, especially if you are trading futures, I know Bespoke is not a futures prop firm, but especially if you trade futures, because there is this two big, let's say, a field of prop firm. There is futures prop firm and, let's say, forex prop firm, that you can trade indices through CFDs, but it's different, right? Especially the futures prop firm, which is how I got into the prop firm industry, because they are cheaper. The thing is that they have the reset button, and the reset button is the worst thing that can exist in the prop firm industry, because the reset button gets abused, especially if you come from this gaming background. It's so easy to get lost and say, okay, I'll try it again. I will do it again. There were days, I'm not making it up, unfortunately. There were days that I was resetting my accounts 3 times in the same day. That was hurting. I mean, at that time, no, I didn't realize. It was just, for me, it was just, I try it again. It's another game. It's another game. And what happened with Bespoke? Bespoke came basically almost 1 year and a half after I started. So it's sort of a coincidence, a mixed of thing where I got a little bit more experience. Even though I'm still learning, but I'm still, very new into this industry. I don't have very much experience. But, 1 year and a half, at least I have, completed two journals that I can go and read back and see what happened last year, what happened in the past month. And basically, with Bespoke, when I won this account, I was probably a little bit matured. I was different. And also I was aware that there was no reset button, right? Because you can't reset the challenge. You can, you have to start it all over again, but you have to pay the full price, right? So basically, yeah, after this past experience, let's say the first year for me was very tough. Yeah, I was going through reset, over reset, over reset, over reset. And because they were so cheap, we get into this mentality that you say, okay, I just need to win one time, I just need to get funded one time. And it's not true. Because I got funded probably with futures prop firm 4 or 5 times. And I end up always losing these accounts, right? So it's really it's really hard. It's really tough, this business, right? This industry, it's really tough.
Definitely is. And you have packed so much in there that is so much value for the viewers at home that are watching. But I just want to focus on a few things that you mentioned. One being the fact that you mentioned you really need to go through the trenches when it comes to trading. You need to go through the trenches. You need to have that level of experience, because trading isn't something that you can just come into and just all of a sudden start being consistently profitable. It's just not the case. You need to go through different market cycles to see how your mindset changes, see how your strategy works in different market cycles, different trading hours, figuring out different things that fit with your lifestyle. Do you work well as a swing trader, or does your life work better you being a scalper? There are so many different elements to trading, and I think you really need to understand yourself as an individual, and that can only really come with experience in the market. Like I say, you have to go through the trenches. I think that is such an important point for everyone that's watching at home to understand. Another important point is the point of journaling. So you mentioned the fact that you're not journaling the trades exactly, but you're journaling your emotions that you go through during those trades. And anyone at home watching who knows me and follows me knows that I'm not huge on journaling, especially when it comes to journaling trades in particular. However, since I have recently started journaling, and that is just simply journaling my emotions, my feelings, writing down little bits of gratitude of like what I'm grateful for throughout the day, just little things that help my mindset and something for me to look back on and see my growth. I am seeing major improvements in my patience, in my discipline, and just overall mindset. So I think, again, journaling, that's a huge aspect. And also I just want to talk about the gaming side a little bit, because we like to take experience from outside life and kind of bring that into trading. I think that's the best way to explain it. So would you say that your experiences of your sporting background and your gaming background have helped you when it comes to trading? So having like that discipline, but then also understanding that trading isn't a game. And like you say, you don't have that reset button unless you're willing to spend more money on another challenge.
Yeah, exactly.
Would you say that those experiences have helped you become a better trader?
Look, sport, the athlete background, let's say the athlete part of me, let's say, helped me with the discipline part. But the problem is that the discipline, when you get overwhelmed by your emotions during trading, when you trade, discipline, goes out of the window. It's very hard to stay disciplined in the beginning. I'm talking about the beginning because it all goes back to the experience, right? It all goes back. For example, last week I was rereading my first journal, and you know how many times, because at the end of the day, when I was writing, it's not like a journal, because journal, you can, for the trades, you can use that. There are softwares, right? You pay like a couple of $100 per year, and you just upload all your trades. And those are statistical numbers. Those are very good. You need them. I'm doing it. I'm doing it also. But what I'm saying, my journal, the journal that I write down with my hand is my diary, right? It's sort of a diary of my trading life. And how many times I was writing down at the end of the day what happened during the day, and how many times I wrote, today again I went against my intended plan of actions. Again, my emotions took over me. You can't imagine how many times I found out this exact sentence. My emotions took over me. I wrote it so many times because, unfortunately, when you don't have experience, and it's not only experience in trading but experience with yourself, because trading, that's what does. Trading shows part of yourself. I was thinking I'm disciplined. Because in sport, you're used how you grow up. If you're disciplined and you train and you eat good and you live a healthy lifestyle, you get the result when you show up at the competition. Either you win or you have second or third or whatever. Or if you play a team sports, you can have a good performance and maybe you can even win. Your team can win, right? So, but in trading, it's not like this. In trading, I was showing up every day. I was studying every day, hours and hours and hours of content and watching chart, watching candles, printing real time. But I was lacking experience, and when I was into trades, because of my lack of experience, and every minor fluctuations, was scary. And you don't know what to do. And if you have to close the trade, if you want to take profit, you don't know if you want to move to break even, like I said. So it's very hard. And those things are not written in books. And another thing that I found that resonates with me, I go back to Michael, ICT, sharing this kind of experience as well. And there are a lot of gems, not only in his YouTube channel, but I recommend everybody who's interested and is maybe actually studying Michael to go through his Twitter spaces, because yes, they are long, whatever, but I use them as a podcast. It's my podcast. They are all his Twitter spaces, because there where he talks exactly about these kind of things, these kind of emotions, what you will go through, and what will be, how you would, how many times he described the situation, and it was exactly what I felt during the day, and he was doing the Twitter space at night, and it was what I was feeling during the day. And for example, more than reading, I listen to audiobooks, and what I like and I think is very useful is Market Wizard. It's a book where there is basically several interviews with professional traders. In the past, they were trading in the pit, they were trading in different environments. It was not electronic trading. But this book, I like it so much because these people, they are sharing their own experiences. And most of the time, even them, they are very successful. They've been very successful. They have managed millions and millions of dollars in capital, right, during the years. And many times they tell their stories, and they have suffered the same things that every one of us is suffering right now. They went through the same thing in the beginning, and they're sharing their experience with us. But yet again, it's not enough to listen to a book or to a Twitter space. And, because when the real world comes and hits, nothing beats experience, like I said. And yeah, so going back to the sport background, in one aspect for the discipline part, it helps, but the problem remains, because when the emotions take over, the discipline is gone, right? And so in this, it was like, helping, but not that much.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So it's basically a double-edged sword. You can take the good from it, or you can take the bad from it, and it comes down to the experience.
The experience, because like I said, in sport or in gaming as well, the more you play the game, the more the better you become, right? And you can be competitive and win more games or whatever. But in trading, there is not, this equation doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's not like the more hour I put into trading, the more videos I watch, the more books I read, the more charts I study, the better trades execute, the more money I get, right? It's not like this. And that, especially in the first year, was leading to a lot of frustration, a lot of revenge trading, a lot of sadness at the end of the day, because when you're used that you put in the work and you get the result, I'm not saying instantly, because even in sport, there is no instant result. I never looked for instant result, even in trading. But, after 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, and you see that things really they don't go like you wanted them to go, it started building up some frustration, right? So it was really tough. The thing that really was a game changer, going back to my journey with Bespoke, was the fact that basically I won this account. Yes, I was the first. This was the only big giveaway that Bespoke has done so far. But it was also the time where Bespoke came out on the market and they introduced the no time limit rule. And when this rule was introduced, then it's like a light bulb, in my mind. I said, wow, so I don't have to rush anymore. How many times I was in the last week of trading and I was trying just to get into the market, and the trailing drawdown was getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller because I was forcing trades that they were not there. But I had only 5 days left. What I should do? I have to trade. But when Bespoke came out with this rule that now is becoming, industry standard, basically, everybody's now adopting. These things really changed again. It was a game changer for me. So yeah, it was like many things, many conferences, if you want. Like when you it was an A+ said this account, this giveaway.
Yeah, I love it. I think for people watching at home, I think you're going to be an absolute breath of fresh air, because you're literally talking about everything that we have to go through in the beginning stages of trading. And for you to have not only won an account, but being able to pass it and actually get a payout from it, like, I can't say how commendable that is. But also for people hearing your journey and hearing your story and hearing that you've been through the exact same things that they have been through, I can imagine for people watching this at home, that is giving them so much hope for their journey. And I'm just loving everything that you're saying right now. So yeah.
Just for transparency, I got the payout. It was, if I remember correctly, it was in the beginning of July. Mm-hmm. And but for example, now this is, of course, I didn't blow the account yet, so I'm still trading it. But I'm suffering a period of drawdown, right? Because there is one thing that I want to, especially, I'm really focusing on the new traders and especially the young ones, because I believe they get fooled so easy. Because I remember when I was young, it's easy to believe in many things, right? So it's easy, especially in trading, it's easy to fall for whatever is going on social media and Twitter. But look, nobody's posting the losing trades, right? If you look at social media, tell me one account. It's something that I wanted to start, but I'll never do it because I'm really not into social media. But I wanted to start an account where I would eventually post only the losing trades, right? To show, because people think that, everybody's posting these beautiful trades, these beautiful, 5 pip stop loss with 100 pip profit and all this kind of trades. And people believe that this is possible, and they chase those kind of things. And that's not the truth. And also, people like me are still new traders, relatively new traders. I'm really new into this industry. Even if I'm aware that maybe I'm outside of the statistic, being here with you today, having accomplished the first payout for a giveaway account, but I'm in a drawdown now. It's been 2 weeks. I'm in drawdown, right? I'm below the initial balance. I'm getting out of drawdown now slowly, right? And actually today I'm almost reached, break even. But what I want to say, it doesn't mean because somebody posted payout certificate or because somebody posted that they passed 4 or 5 challenges that, they have the holy grail and you should follow them or you should believe anything that they say. Because these people, they can get it wrong sometimes. They can have their bias wrong. They can have losing trades. They can have losing streaks. The difference is, how do you behave? How do you act when you are on a drawdown, for example? And how do you manage your capital that is left when you're in a drawdown? How do you manage a losing trade? Do you get scared? Do you close before the stop loss gets hit? Those things, once again, they go back to experience. And this is why I think the biggest advice is really journal your emotions, journal your experience, see how you behaved before, read it and don't do it anymore. Or at least try to avoid the same mistakes. Because it's easy, there is this saying in the trading space. They say, when you are in a drawdown, We are hopeful. We hope that our stop doesn't get hit and we don't move it. But when we are in profit, we are fearful. What we are fearful of? We are fearful that the trade goes back and take profit from us. When it should be the exact opposite. We shouldn't be hopeful when we are in drawdown. We should be hopeful when we are in profit to let the price do its things, right? But this is something that once again comes only with time, I believe.
Honestly, I'm so excited for this to go out because you are seriously dropping some serious gems. And like I've said, anyone watching at home, especially newbies, are going to take so much from everything that you're saying. So quick round of applause.
It's like, because look, I was not really like this. I never was like this because I never got, impressed by these big payouts. Because there is another statistic, if you want. I don't know about Bespoke. Maybe Bespoke could share the statistic in the future. It's about the record payouts account. People who made record payouts, for how long they keep this account after they made the payout. I don't want to have these big payouts because those things, they can play with your mind and you don't know it until you are there. Imagine you have 50,000 or 60,000 or I don't remember, maybe 80,000 payout one time. What would you do the next month when you are in a drawdown and you close the month and you're down? What your mind will tell you, it's going to be very hard because we are wired in this way. Then once you establish, if you're not really experienced and you're not really strong in your mind, it's very easy to say, oh, last month I made 40K, last month I made 50K. I'm down 2K or I'm up 2K or 5K. It looks nothing. It looks like, come on, I made 40K. I can't now have a payout of 5K. Let me over leverage. Let me try to reach, a decent amount of money. But people should think, I'm from Italy. Italy is one of the G7 countries, right? You know what is the average yearly salary in Italy? $44,000. And this is the average. So what does it mean is the average? That the majority of people doesn't even get $44,000 per year in Italy. And Italy is, it's a beautiful country to live. Everything is working good. The healthcare is actually free, right? Everything is working. You have, transportations everything is good. It's a good country. And $44,000 is the average yearly salary for Italy. And this is not what the most people make per year, because most people make much less than this, because these averages, they are skewed up by the higher income people that they earn much more than that. And then the average, accounts for all of that. And now I'm trading a $400,000 account, right? If you think in perspective and you take as a comparison the average yearly salary in Italy, it's what? It's 1% is $4,000. Okay, if I make 1% every month, I already beat most of my fellow Italians that are going to work from the morning till the evening. They go back home, they are tired, they don't have time to spend with their daughters, or their boys, whatever if they have a family or not, or their wives. And while I'm here, and just 1% per month consistently can beat the 9 to 5 in my country, right? These things, especially young men, they believe that trading is meant to buy Lamborghinis and go to Dubai and flash, and flex. That's not trading. That's not going to the aqua scooter in Dubai and showing Instagram posts where you're there. Anyway, this is just, I want to say this to the new traders and the aspiring traders, that trading takes time. It's hard. Yeah, you should take it really serious, and you should not rush. There is nothing. It's not a get rich quick scheme, right? It's completely different.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with any more with everything that you're saying, honestly. But moving away a little bit from the mindset aspect, do you want to show us a little bit of your strategy and particularly talk about the sessions that you trade, if there's anything you avoid, and your risk management strategy?
There is nothing, I don't have to show nothing, because a lot of people already knows what are the ICT concept and how it teaches price actions. And basically, I want to show something, a trade that I took today. So it's really fresh.
Perfect.
And it was short on the pound dollar. So basically what I do, of course, I do my top-down analysis. So I see what's the daily, what the week, what the daily is doing, and so forth. So, and I go down. My entry time frame is now the 15-minute time frame. Mm-hmm. And so basically this morning, what I was observing is we opened the week, it's a new week, right? And we had, this is the pound. The pound has been bearish for the past week. We had basically 5 daily candles that closed bearish. And I was having this line, I don't know if you can say, marked as my drawn liquidity. This was, it's a weekly order block, right? So for me, price after this huge run still had some, some room to go, at least to this level, which was, if you go to the weekly chart, maybe it's better. This is the open of this weekly candle. And this is what Michael teaches us. It's a very sensitive point, and it can be a very strong drawn liquidity when price is really close to it. So I was aiming for this target today. I was looking for pound to hit this target. And usually, like what Michael teaches is, we want to see price has to show its hands. So, and what I do, when I have a drawn liquidity, I go and I have this setup where I check with the dollar what the dollar is doing. I check what the euro is doing. And then I see, and down I have the pound, right? So this morning we had news during London, because I live in Marrakesh. Now I'm in Italy, but I live in Marrakesh. And just to digress 1 second, everybody wants to move to Dubai. But if you really want to trade, like Marrakesh is the same time zone. Morocco is a developing country, and life is really cool over here. And I'm basically trading the same time zone as London, so I can trade both session. I can enjoy the sun all the year, from January to December. I can enjoy good food. And yeah, I mean, I really recommend for whoever is interested to come and visit, see with your own eyes. So basically, yes, I can trade both sessions, London and New York. I don't trade Asia, because Asia then it's late and usually sleep, or I'm not really watching chart during Asia. So basically this morning, what happened? I saw there was news. So I was expecting manipulation in price, and before the news. So when I saw the euro taking the liquidity here, so this old high is where usually we say there is liquidity or buy stops, right? And I was watching that while euro was taking the stops, the dollar was not making a lower low. So the dollar was showing relative to euro, right? And the pound was showing weakness relative to the euro. I mean, the pound did not take the same high. Let me put it this way so it's more clear. So I do like this. I put the chart in the same position so I can see, the same. I can compare the same highs. And then this is what Michael calls SMT, which is basically a divergence without having an indicator. You can tell that there is a divergence between correlated assets. So when I saw this, I basically waited. I took 2 trades actually. One short was with euro, and one short was with the pound. And what I did is I waited. I saw this candle. So this is what Michael called displacement. So this is like or institutional sponsorship. You can tell that there is a lot of sellers here, and a lot of sellers with a lot of big pockets, let's say. So when you see this kind of displacement and you see this S&T, is like a confirmation. It's just a confluence on a trade. And also what I see here, that there was, let me go to the pound. Let me take the pound. There was basically a formations that, when we go to the 15-minute, it's called basically a breaker block. So we have this high, right? This low. This is the 15-minute. This is my entry time frame, right? Mm-hmm. So the pound, like euro, had the manipulation at the opening, or London open, which is 3 a.m. New York time, which is 8 a.m. London time. They had manipulation where we see the price goes up, take the liquidity here, and then displace lower with strong impulse price down, right? And then, so basically you have here a stop hunt. Then what I do, I like to wait for an optimal trade entry, which is basically a retracement. I place my entry, I take this swing, the price swing, the most recent price swing, that basically, there is a lot of confluences here because we have liquidity, we have S&T divergence with the dollar, we have a displacement, we have fair value gap, right? Here, this is an imbalance of fair value gap inside an optimal trade entry, and is also very close to the opening price at midnight, which is a very important price level for if you follow Michael's teachings. So yeah, basically I took a trade here. I entered a short position here at the beginning of the fair value gap, which is also a breaker because you have here a low. See, I should put this one here. You have a swing low, a swing high, break structure. And you have basically this series of down close candle. Now on a 50-minute, it's ugly, but if I go to the 1 hour, it's clear. So this would be the breaker. Let's do it in this. Let's get some shade, maybe red. Okay, oh, much. And here there was a lot of confluences for me to enter a trade. So I placed my entry here at the beginning of the fair value gap inside the breaker in an optimal trade entry. My stop was here above the high, which is and level, because if price was to come above here, then I was wrong. My idea was completely wrong. And I took partial here. So I took my first partial down here, and now I'm still holding because, you know, with Bespoke, I can hold actually even over the weekend. So I'm still holding a little bit because I have a higher time frame objective lower. I'm at break even. So what I do usually is like this. I get to my first objective. I take, depends on how much I'm convinced of the higher time frame objective. Usually I take between 50% or 80% off at the first objective intraday. Then I move to break even. So at the moment my trade looks like this. I'm at break even. And now I'm just waiting and leaving price to do its things. But basically I like to trade breaker blocks. The entry has to be done during the kill zone. This shaded gray area are my kill zone. I mean, they're ICT kill zone, but how I see them on chart is like this. And this was having a lot of conferences for me. And that's what I use of his concept, because he has a lot of concept and they're all valid, of course, but I believe that we should keep it simple. And trading has to be simple and boring, has to become boring. And it's not like he's still teaching a lot of new things. There are a lot of new concepts that he's introducing this year. But people has to understand that Michael has been trading for 30 years. So maybe in 20 years, I will be able to trade all of his concepts. I don't know, but I'm not really looking for it. I don't want even, I'm be honest, like I'm good with what I have. I just need to master what I know and keep it simple, right? And I will never change, that's for sure. I will always trade this kind of style. And that's basically for the technical part. That's how I use his concept. But once again, people, they can just look at his free YouTube and follow him on Twitter maybe and see what he's doing. He's trading more indices this year. I used to trade the indices last year when I was in prop firm, futures prop firm challenges. But now I switched to Forex and I'm happy for the moment. Sometimes I trade gold as well. Sometimes S&P, of course, when it's really clear. And this is basically
perfect. I mean, I personally don't trade any kind of ICT strategies, but even just explaining that to me, like I can clearly see exactly what you're doing and what you're looking at. So yeah, that's perfect.
We go back?
Yeah.
Okay.
So starting to wrap up now, how was your experience with Bespoke?
Oh, flawless. I mean, I'm not motherland. My English is my third language. So I really don't know how to say it better than flawless, impeccable. I remember even with Max, I had a couple of chat. It was for the payout, but also when I passed my phase one. I remember when I passed my phase one, I was on a train and I was on a train and basically I watched my phone. The train went into a tunnel, right? So there was no connection. I lost connection and I was like maybe $300 away from passing the challenge. And I lost connection for about 5 minutes. And when I got the connection back and I was writing to Max, I said, Max, what do I have to do? Because I was excited. I was past already phase one. So I started writing to the time I get back the connection and there was this phenomenal, this beautiful, I don't know if I have to call it function or I don't know the technical name of it, but the auto close feature. It's a feature, right? The auto close. So basically I got back the connection. Yeah. I got back my connection and the trade was closed. I was passing phase one without doing nothing. And this is something that Bespoke, it's really amazing. Yeah, I think you guys need just some more time. And I believe, you're definitely on the right track to be probably one of the best in the industry.
I love that. And
because there are a lot of things that, because when you're new, it's very hard to step inside the room of giants, like, the other big companies that are out there. Without mentioning them, everybody knows them. But I believe that Bespoke is doing everything right and literally being the first that introduced and marketed the no time limit futures. And that's really a big plus. And, a lot of payouts already, a lot of proof of payouts, real faces to speak to, and my experience so far is, I'm not getting paid by Bespoke, but I'm just saying the truth. It's been really impeccable.
That's amazing. That's so great to know. Especially from someone that has won a challenge as well. You want to know that you're getting the same level of support.
You did good to mention that because I believe I remember that. I think I read it on Twitter. Of course, I don't remember the name of this prop firm, but there are a lot of prop firm popping up lately. And it was like And everybody's doing giveaway now. Everybody's doing giveaway. 20 account, 50 account, whatever. And there was a guy, actually several guys that they were complaining that they won the giveaway. And they actually passed the challenge because, they're smart. Some people, they open this prop firm and they want to just scam people, unfortunately. But they are intelligent enough to let them trade the phase 1 or phase 2. But then what they did not give the credentials for the funded account, for the live account. So this is a danger, for people who want to start this adventure with new prop firm. You should really be careful out there because it's easy to fall trap of these new ones without credentials, and you can spend time, energy, pass phase 1, pass phase 2, and then you don't get the credential. What do you do? And with Bespoke, not only I got my credential the same day, I even got the payout the same day I requested it without moving one eye. Like it was really flawless.
I love that. Absolutely love that. So we've come to the final question, which I'm sure is a question that our previous guest has asked for us to ask you. So the question is, what is the biggest psychological hurdle of trading? And if you experience it currently, or if you ever experience it again, how would you overcome it?
I think the answer goes back a little bit of what we were talking about in the beginning of the interview.
I agree.
The biggest psychological hurdle is yourself, get to know yourself. And the thing that to know yourself, the only recommendation from my little experience that I have so far is, I repeat again myself, but there is nothing else to do, is journal your emotions, journal at the end of the day how you felt. If you took a trade, how you felt. If you did not took a trade, how you felt. If you missed a trade for a pip or 2 pip or 5 pip, how did you feel? Did you had this rush? Did you feel FOMO? Did you want to get in because you couldn't accept that you missed your entry for a couple of pip or even 5 pip or 10 pip and price moved in your intended direction and hit your take profit without you? How did you feel? Because in the beginning, all these kind of things were happening to me and would happen to anybody who starts trading. And what I was doing, I was chasing price. I was putting more leverage on it because I wanted to make the same target profit. If I was entering at my level, let's say with 2 lot, I would achieve X amount of money. Now, price didn't pick me up. It's halfway through my TP. So I want to make the same amount of my original trade. So I double down on the level. And of course, the little retracement that happened and is natural takes me off the trade. And I end up the day with the losing trade where I was right with my idea. So the biggest psychological hurdle is yourself. And to know yourself, you need to have experience. You need to put in the time. There is no 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. It doesn't work like this. You need to journal yourself. You need to have a diary of yourself, of what happened. If you can do it every day, good. I had the luck to be able to do it every day for the past 1 year and a half. So it's only 1 year and a half, but I can promise you it has been very intense because I was every day, and I'm still every day, able, thank God, to stay home and to watch chart, to study. I mean, I don't do that all the day, of course, because I have also a beautiful daughter and a beautiful wife to deal with. But this is to me, that's the biggest obstacle. So
yeah, I think I would have probably given the same answer. It always is a battle within yourself and constant learning.
I like metaphor, and I know you like them too. I see, profitability in trading is like your own shadow. The more you run after it or towards it, the more she ran away from you. And the faster you run, the faster she ran away from you. At least until the point in the day where you realize that profitability, aka your shadow, has been there always with you. And there's always been there and will always be there as long as you realize that, there are certain things that needs to be done. And, it's just a matter of experiencing.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So what is your question for the next guest?
I'm a father now. Like I just said, I have a beautiful daughter, 6 years old. And my question is...
So I just want to say a huge thank you for you jumping on and sharing your story, your experiences. And like I've said numerous times throughout this interview, I think the viewers at home are going to take so much value from this interview. And honestly, what you've done from winning a 400k account, passing it, and then getting a payout, I honestly think it's so commendable. And I honestly can't wait to see where the rest of your journey takes you. So once again, thank you so much for coming on and sharing everything with us.
Thank you for having me, Melissa.
You're very welcome.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
You're welcome. We'll speak again very soon.
Sure.